YouTuber, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I wanted to continue our conversation. This is part three of Atlanta, Georgia, struggle life. Atlanta to me is like a barrel. You know, the round barrels. Sometimes they put beers in it. Sometimes it's used for the Caribbean people use it. Send clothes, send stuff home for their family. Atlanta is the home to interracial marriage. A lot of that is going on in Atlanta. So if you're into that or that kind of push the black woman aside. So it's home F, housewife of Atlanta. That's all we know. When I went to an assignment traveling, they always say, "Oh, do you know the housewife of Atlanta, Georgia is rich and they have money." Who does? That's not reality, honey. That's what I said. Atlantans, and I'm talking about the ones that are struggling, is at a helpless position right now. They're at the mercy of people who are coming into Atlanta and also people who are pushing them out because they can't afford it and the spots are getting costly. Life is exactly like the barrel, and more people are coming and they're going out. The more people coming every day, some are leaving. And what happened is this barrel, you have an influx of people coming in, and it's going to explode eventually. When they come in, they realize that life is not what it seems to or appear to be, or what we see in the TV. Some of us come in and don't do our homework. We just come in because we have problems in our state. We got issues with our family and we just running, and this is the city that we hear we're going to be welcome. Atlanta is going to take us in and we're going to start our own business and we're going to grow, and this is excitement. That's like not excitement like New York, but it's excitement. It's a sense of independence that you feel when you back home hearing about Atlanta. But when you get here, it's a lot of disappointment. A lot of crimes, guns, shootout. Yes, I'm being honest. No one can say in the comment that I'm lying. A lot of shootout. You can't even go to the gas station. They trying to steal your car and probably steal your car by the time you get in there and come out. It's no different. Don't get me wrong. Because I had a situation, I think it was Christmas 2015 or 2014. Don't quote me. I don't remember right now. But if you want to know more, I write a blog and you can check it out. It's in my own name and the stories is in there. One Christmas, I'll tell you what happened. I was so excited. It was around 1998, I think. I had just graduated from RN school and got my license, and I was going to go to New York to shop. And I had a lot of people that I wanted to give presents to. And was excited because I rented a car and a friend of mine was going with me. And we got in the car and we was just chilling and we was just dancing. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Bob Marley song. It was just like, ooh, do the reggae, do the reggae. I was excited because I got money in my pocket now and it's Christmas. I'm going to spend this money. So I had all these presents I had bought. I went to Canal Street and I was just shopping like a bat out of hell. And I want this. I want that. And I was going to buy this TV and this electronics and toys and for some kids, my nieces and everybody was going to get a present, including me. And so it was getting late, so we decided we're going to stop because I had family in Brooklyn. So I was going to stop in Brooklyn after shopping. So on my way from Canal Street, which is not far, just over the bridge to Brooklyn, and we started, driving, and we realized that the car was almost empty with gas. It was on the E, and I was trying and praying that I get over the bridge so the car don't stop and I would get gas. We did make it. Thank you. So I got at the gas station, and a friend of mine went in to get gas, and I got out to I was gonna get out to pump the gas while he goes pay for it. And it was very cold. It was snowing and it was cold. And I got out my car to pump the gas, but I left the keys in the car. And I turned around. I think when he came out the car, what happened is somebody called his name, and he turned back. We both turned back to see who was called, who know that we were here. We were in Brooklyn because I was living in Philadelphia at the time. And by the time, I would say less than a minute, turn around to look who called his name, not my name. They took off with our car. So here we were, the presents were gone, and we standing, we live in Philadelphia now. And I know no family member, they didn't have a car. You don't really need a car in New York, so they use public transportation to pick us up. So we had to take the train, call the cops, waited a while. They took forever to come. Maybe because it was a holiday, the NYPD wasn't in any hurry, but it was cold at that gas station. They never did find the car. Long story short, they never found the car. But I'm so glad that I had insurance on the car, because if that wasn't the case, then it would have been a problem. So there it goes. All the presents, all the expensive gadget, nothing in the world. But I was glad we had each other and I was alive. So when I went to visit my mom, I said, I started to bring the present, but I didn't get it here because what happened? And she was just hugged me and said, thank God you're alive. That's the most important thing. So the moral of the story, and why I wrote that blog and that article, is because family, sometimes we tend to be, hard on each other, but overall, it turned out to be, I was so happy that they embraced me and they weren't angry that I didn't have the present, that my life was more important. That's just a little FYI. Anyway, back to Atlanta, Georgia struggles. So it's no different. There's crime in Atlanta, there's crime in Philadelphia, there's crime in New York, and I'm sure there's crime Florida and all over. But it's extremely, to me, maybe it's the news. If the news will just give us a balance, like I always say, give us some good news and give us some bad news. But to me, to the point where I don't listen to the news that much, it's just always negative, shootout, killing. I don't want to hear all that. And I want to hear it, but it's very heartbroken. A lot of home invasion in Georgia now, so got to be careful. What else? Like I was saying, it's a barrel. The people in Atlanta, they have this mentality. I think they're very close-minded. They may, and I don't know if it's because the people that I meet And it was hard for me to deal with, to understand that they never travel outside of Atlanta. They lived in Atlanta all their life. I've met people like that that's never traveled. And if you have never traveled, you have that, I don't want to say they ignorant, but they have that ignorant mindset. They don't really know what's going on. And so they're closed minded. They think they're very distrustful of others. Maybe that's a good thing with what's going on in Atlanta with the crime rate and corruption. The schools are not as up to par as it should be. And I only know about the corruption because it was on the news that the school system in Atlanta was going down, or it's already down. Kids are shooting up schools. And a matter of fact, I haven't heard of any in Atlanta right now. So, how can we help the struggle? I thought about this for a long time, as a matter of fact. And there's a lot of homeless people in Atlanta, and there's some people who are struggling, and people who are on food stamp who may, or even people who don't have food stamp. The other day, I went to this place, and it's called the Monastery. It's a beautiful place. It's a peaceful place for me. And I was just walking the grounds and talking to the people there that comes around. And I met this nurse. The reason how I end up at this monastery, I happened to work at a hospice facility, and I met this nurse, and she was just talking about she was herself and her what she did in her lifetime. She was an older nurse, but she was working, and she said she volunteered. So I asked her, because usually I don't really talk to people when I met them. I just kind of observe them, and then I take it from there if my spirit can take them. But as she began to talk to me and, we conversate, she told me she volunteered. And I asked her, where did you volunteer? And what were you doing? And she told me about the Montessori. And the Montessori, there's several of them in Atlanta, and there's one she told me about in Conyers. And I want to share this information with my friends and family, YouTubers, that did you know if you're struggling, if you need food, that the Montessori, you can go there and get food, and they give you 3 months supplies of food. And let me tell you, I went with that lady, the food, because when she get the food, I think she give it out to her church people. The food, the bags of bread, meat, chicken, breakfast food, eggs, fruits. I'm telling you, 3 months supply the monastery give you of food. You have to have your driver's license, and they might ask you information, how many family members you have, and go there. But they'll give you a 3 month supply of food. So I'm telling you, if you're struggling in Atlanta and you can't find food, there's a place for you. I'm not sure if that location in Conyers just deal with the surrounding areas. I don't know how they set it up because I only went with the lady. But that's a good way of getting some free food, and just pass it on. Pass that knowledge on to someone who may be needing it. What other resource? So there's some good things there, and while you're there, you can just walk the ground, and it's very peaceful. Nobody bother you. Nobody bother you. Another thing I was thinking about the homelessness in Atlanta. Some of the homeless people that I have met came in from other states, and they had big dreams. They had hope. But some way along the line, they gave up. Okay, I came in with, a lot of people may say on the comment that, why do you come here? You didn't have to. Why don't you go back? I don't want you to think that I'm saying a lot of things negative about Atlanta. I do like it. I've grown to love it. But what I'm saying, if I had somebody who was before I got here, tell me the truth. Don't tell me it's beautiful and this and I can do this. I can't, I don't see all that. If you can't pay your bills, then that's flag. And it's not like the jobs are not there. If you're talking about only professional people can survive in Georgia, what I hate and what I don't like, and I talk about this a lot because it I'm just at the point that I don't even know how to address this. You work, you apply for a job. Okay, you got in the door. And certain things that you see on the job, I don't know if that's right. I don't even want to talk about it right now. But, and if you speak up, yeah, that's another thing. If you speak up, then you're at fault. You come in and you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. They want you to leave at a certain time. You leave at a certain time. But you see the same people doing the same thing over and over again. They just ride the clock. Ride that clock all the way to 3 a.m. in the morning. Nobody say nothing to them. But they watch you. So if you're not in that clique, if you're not part of the what they call them, the in crowd, the interracial groups, or the swingers, the swirlers, whatever they call them, group, then you're not in the in crowd. If you don't have what they have, you're not going to be welcome. The small things about the traffic in Atlanta, I can avoid it. Everybody can avoid it eventually. But the things that I don't like is the mindsets of some of the people that you may come across, how they make the struggle harder because there's so much into that barrel and it's going to explode. That's why I would say stop. Do your research. Find out. You must know somebody who, if you don't know anybody who live in Atlanta, come for and stay for a month and see if you like it. I think that when you come in, it looks good and you may think you like it because you go to a few parties, if that's what you're into, party, and you say, oh, this is a cool state. The reality is you're going to have to work to maintain, and people always want to, it's a competition. Who's on your level, trying to get you down, the barrel, crabs in the barrel just pulling you down, and the more you climb up, the more they push you down, the more you turn to the left, the more you turn to the right. It's like the barrel get full and it squeeze you and you just explore, and then People get in their feelings and they attack each other, and then it's just crime and confusion and ignorance. And that's why I use life is exactly like the Barrel of Atlanta. That's what life in Atlanta is all about. It's, laughing matter. It's not a joke. It's real hard. It's rough. And you have to pick and choose where you want to live, what kind of job you want. And when you get the job you think you want, you realize that, oh my God, the people there, they same way. They fighting you for the overtime, and you just there to make your little 40 hours a week. But they get mad because they say you come to take away their overtime. Now I have a real problem with that. And you can't break that clique. You can't break that clique. That's a family. What they say, families stick together? Yes, they do, honey. Yes, they do. They want to know all about you so they could break you down. So they could see if they could get over. All you want is your little 40 hours and go home. But they want it all to them selfish self. Now, when I meet someone from Atlanta, and I've met quite a few, I don't want you to think I'm all negative. I've met quite a few good friends, and they were honest to me, and they said they like me because I'm real. I'm real with them, and they real with me. And we're still friends. We talk to each other on the phone. And they acknowledge, the honest one will acknowledge what I'm saying is correct. The people who live in this glass bubble, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the truth. And sometimes you have to be very careful of the truth, what you say. And I'm finding it out. People get offended, people get hurt, and you may even get killed. I don't know much about this story, but I'm just going to interject a little bit about that doctor, CDC. People are talking about it. I don't know about it, so I just follow the news. The thing I don't like, and I noticed that a story that's negative, they just take it and run. I don't know if some of the things that they're talking about is true, because at one point we'll hear that it's another story. So I don't get into all that. So on my channel, I'm not going to talk about what's going on. Basically, I'll connect it a little, but I'm not going to elaborate because this is not a news channel. So pardon me if you don't like what I'm talking about. I usually talk about things that affect me, things that I see with my own two eyes, and I can present it to you. I'm not going to attach myself to any other story because I don't know anything about it. I guess you could say I'm ignorant in that aspect, but I'm not. So I think this is a good time to say I appreciate you for coming and stopping by with me. And I hope that you continue to follow me, to like my video, share it, comment, interact. Have a pleasant day.